Okay, so basically, I have this theory about homeless people, and I don't know, maybe people have totally already said this before, but even if they have, we should talk about it again. The government wants homeless people to exist because think about it. Every normal civilian and every like low level politician, so like mayors, governors or whatever, they're always like, we need to eliminate this homeless problem, we need to, homeless people, regular people are like, we need to fix homelessness, right? But it's like none of them ever instate free housing. They're always like, oh, we're going to instate low income housing. We're going to build more low income housing. And then people clap their hands and they're like, yay, low income housing. And yeah, people need low income housing. But what about free housing for homeless people? And I'm not saying that this would be a process or a system. If there was free housing that would be perfect, it would probably still be dangerous or have flaws or whatever. But the fact that people aren't even trying, I mean, the only free housing is like a homeless camp or whatever you call it, right? Because the thing is that if homelessness is truly eliminated and there's free housing in case people become homeless, then we would all have nothing to fear. There would be no reason to ever be afraid. Like, there's tons of people who have 9-to-5s or corporate jobs and they want to start their own business, but they don't do it because they don't have the time or the resources, or more like they just don't have the time because of their corporate job. But if you weren't afraid to be homeless, right, and you didn't have to pay rent, then you could go start your business, right? So capitalism thrives off of people doing low-level jobs, like tons of monotonous corporate jobs or 9-to-5s or people working in fast food, et cetera, et cetera. But if no one feared homelessness, then there would be nothing to be afraid of in life. Everyone would live like they were a Nepo baby. Everyone would live like they had money because there would be no fear. Sure, you'd have to feed yourself and stuff, but that's why they have food banks, you know? And I'm not saying that these systems in place to give you free water or food or whatever are necessarily perfect or anything, or that it's even adequate nutrition, but I'm just saying that if homelessness was eliminated, then there would be no more fear in capitalism. And people would be not free, but they would get to make better decisions. So the government will always want homeless people because then there's always something for you to point at and say, hey, you need to keep your job, you need to keep working, you need to not leave this company because otherwise you're going to be homeless, you're going to live in your car. And everyone knows that living in your car is really not sustainable. So at the end of the day, homeless people will always exist because the government loves homeless people, because it gives something for the middle class and the lower class who are non-homeless. It gives non-homeless individuals something to be afraid of. I'm trying to make sure there's no one watching me. I don't know, I'm in the park. Anyways, whatever.